Good evening, and we're coming to you live from La Habra Heights, California, as we join our final two candidates as they debate some serious ministry issues, helping decide the congregational vote for the next senior pastor of the United Baptist Church of America. I'm Anderson Pack.
And I'm Amy Ree.
And to our candidates. First up, she has been the serving church secretary for the last 30 years and is the first female candidate to make it this far in the election process. The dispensational nominee for the senior pastor of the UBCA, Hillary Kim.
And standing in opposition to her doctrine regarding soteriology, eschatology, and ecclesiology, a most unlikely candidate who has no pastoring experience prior to this election, yet has a career of running some of the most successful small groups in the ministry. The Reform nominee for senior pastor of the UBCA, Donald J. Chung.
Let's welcome our nominees. Let's get to it. Secretary Kim, you won the coin toss backstage, so the first question is for you. Why are you the better candidate for creating serving opportunities and putting spiritual gifts to use between our church departments?
Well, Anderson, it's simple, really. My opponent's plan only benefits himself. His cessationist pneumatology is rigid, and frankly, it only benefits the small group leaders of the adult department.
Wrong.
It's not wrong, Donald. Your plan directs all the offering money to the adult departments while leaving a deficit in the educational departments.
No, I never said that.
Can you explain that, Mr. Chung?
No, I can't explain that because I never said that.
Well, you say you want to decrease funding to elementary and to the youth. And Secretary Kim is saying that she wants to increase it.
Well,
can you explain that?
Yes, I can explain that. I can explain that. It's crazy. It's crazy. See, what she wants to do is she wants to take all the funding and move it away from the adult department. But what I think should happen is that we should take the resourcing and we should resource the adult department because that's where you have the college students. Now, the college students, listen, everyone needs college students. I love college students. They're my favorite. And this church needs college students. And listen, what's going on right now, college students are leaving our church in dozens. They're going to Good Stewards Church. They're going to the Exchange Church. They're going on mission trips to Mexico and to China. And I don't want our college students to leave. I want our college students to stay right here. But I'm not talking about just our college students. I want more college students to come here. And I don't mean like sheep stealing. Everybody's always wondering, am I into sheep stealing? Am I going to be sheep stealing? I am against sheep stealing. I've always been against sheep stealing. If you remember, the Sunday morning before our summer missions trip, I called Josa. I talked to Josa, and nobody calls Josa, but I called Josa, and I said, Josa, I am against sheep stealing. She's into sheep stealing.
Secretary Kim, your response?
Woo! Well, my plan is to send more money to the elementary, middle, and high school departments because the adult department has the most money, and I think we should distribute the funding a little more fairly. I mean, can you really trust this man's plan? He hasn't even released his ministry budget. For the past 5 years he's been a small group leader, and he hasn't paid offering in the past 15 years.
I don't have to release my ministry budget.
Every small group has released a ministry budget, Donald. The church would like to know if you're planning a retreat or a mission trip.
I did a retreat. It was the best retreat. Everybody agrees it was the best retreat.
Then release your ministry budget.
I'll release the ministry budget. I'll release my ministry budget when you can release the 33,000 worship song slides that you deleted.
That was a mistake.
Big mistake. Not just a mistake. It was a big mistake.
Okay,
I don't know why
Mr.
Why are we
Chung,
talking
we're getting
about?
a
Why are we
little
talking about a
off
worship
topic
song?
here. We're going to move on to the next question. The next question has to do with those worship song slides. In particular, we're going to be talking about the team that operates them on a weekly basis. Now, our church has been seeing a widening gap between our tech team and the more visible members that serve at our church, such as the worship team and the welcoming team. What can our church do to remind our congregation that tech team matters?
It's true, Anderson. Tech team matters. I remember when my dad used to make me go to church early. He was just a lay member. He wasn't part of the band or the welcoming team or the youth staff, but he wanted to serve the church. So we started to learn Microsoft PowerPoint, and he became the best person on tech team. And he was the only one who could finish a service without being late on a single slide, and no one ever appreciated him. Not for any sermon not for any song set. I believe we need a healthier relationship between the pastoral leadership and the tech team.
Listen, you say tech team matters, and I understand that you think that because your dad never was late on a slide, that he was somehow the best on the tech team. But what about the times that the tech team had typographical errors? And I mean like the typographical errors where they can't even decide between an uppercase letter and a lowercase letter. And I'm talking about when it's like words like God, Bible, Spirit, Lord.
Well, we can fix that.
We're going to fix that. Well, you've been secretary for 30 years and nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. If I'm senior pastor, then everything's going to change. I'm going to make sure that the tech team that's in the sound booth is properly trained, and I'm going to make sure that they're in there and they're using the sound mixer properly, and I'm going to build a wall around that tech booth, and I'm going to make them pay for it.
Donald, that's a little extreme.
That's called ministry.
You see, this is the type of bully leadership that Donald wants to bring. He wants to question everyone's spiritual gifting. And don't make me remind you that Donald made our former senior pastor prove that he was ordained. He made him show proof that he had a master's degree in divinity.
Well, I just think that if I have to provide my ministry budget, then it's not unreasonable for a senior pastor to have to prove his credentials.
Let's move on to the next question.
Well, no, I'm just saying that if I have to prove my
I
ministry
understand,
budget,
but we
then
need
it's
to
not.
move on.
No, that's fine,
Mr.
but I'm
Chuck,
just saying
please stop
because.
interrupting.
Well, I'm not interrupting you. You're
Stop
interrupting me. Why do you
talking.
keep doing that? How
Stop
come you
talking.
let her talk, but you don't let me talk? I'm just saying. If I.
Well, that was a productive discussion. Regardless of which nominee is elected to be our next senior pastor, we hope that everyone will be in prayer for our leadership. We can all agree that we desperately need it. Thank you for watching, and good night.